I was born in San Bernardino, California, on March 10th, 1912. 104. People can't believe I'm that old. I was raised in San Diego. My father decided to come to San Diego for some reason. I don't know why. My brother Gregory was older than I am, and myself, and my other brother was born here in San Diego. Well, since I was a little kid, I used to go to school in Old Town San Diego, and this Fremont school is called. And I used to hear the Navy band playing. I liked it. And then I'd see them doing exercises because there was hills behind us, and they come doing their naval landing exercises. I admired the Navy, and I liked it. To this day, I like it. I'd go back again if I was young and be able to do anything they wanted. And I had joined the Naval Reserve about 5 years before the war started. We were assigned to, we had what's called a section base, and we would go there once a month to drill and lessons and any information that they give us about naval regulations and routine and all that. I think it was a month each year, and from there they transferred us to a ship, usually a destroyer, and they would go on a cruise, different parts from San Diego to San Francisco, or down to Mexico, or the Hawaiian Islands, and they get a training from there. They told us, well, 2 or 3 times during the 5 years that was before the war, and said, be prepared to leave your home and family for nobody knew how long. And so when I was called to active duty, and then assigned us to on a destroyer, and we went through exercises, landing exercises, firing exercises, and radio or communications and things like that. And we'd be the same as the Navy, but they're not completely members of the regular Navy. We were still reserved. It was a minesweeper, and the name was USS Condor. It was a fishing boat before the Navy took it over. The fishing fleet is made out of wood. And the reason the Navy took it over, because it was made out of wood. Usually the mines that were laid, they were steel. And if a steel ship went over, it really immediately was drawn up to the hull. And if one of the prongs would touch the steel ship, it would explode and disable it or sink it. And that's why they chose the fishing fleet. And then the Navy took it over. They took all the fishing gear off and installed minesweeping equipment, huge generators on each little ship. We couldn't, the cook couldn't cook any meals at all because the ship had a kind of a round hull, and any little breaker in the ocean would rock it. And if the cook started cooking, all the food would land on the floor. See, we used to patrol right outside the harbor, and at night, from midnight till about 6 o'clock in the morning, because there was no traffic, no ships coming in, no ships going out. And so we had the field all by ourselves. Well, we went out on our patrol at midnight, and it's just an ordinary night. We never thought anything about war or even talked about it or anything. And we were like patrolling and till 3 o'clock in the morning. And I happened to be on the helm, and the ensign McCloy was the officer of the deck, and quartermaster second class Utrecht, name of Utrecht, he was acted as a lookout. At 3:45, he said, "Mr. McCloy, we got company." And Mr. McCloy, the officer of the deck, he got a little excited. And he said, "What is it? Who is it? What's he doing here? Where's he going? How fast is he going?" So you couldn't answer any of the questions. He didn't know. But Mr. McCloy was a little excited about another ship being on an area he wasn't supposed to. Well, anyway, after Utrecht saw the submarine, because the submarine was on the surface, and he could see it, and it was dark, but we were close enough to see it. And in fact, we almost rammed it. And Mr. McCloy sent word to the captain. The captain was in his quarters. He was resting. He was asleep. And so when Utrecht, the messenger, went out to give him the message, he reported about that submarine being in restricted water. So he immediately gave the order, inform the USS Ward what you saw and what lead or whatever information you can give them, and report it right away. And also inform the commandant of the 14th Naval District, which was, they called it the tower, because all the messages went to the tower, and from there they were distributed where it had to go. The ward immediately went looking for the submarine, but he couldn't find it. And it spent, maybe an hour and a half looking for it, and they couldn't find it. At dawn, there was a patrol boat, airplane, that was made in San Diego. And they were on their patrol, their normal patrol, and they saw the submarine. And immediately they informed the ward, and the ward sped over to where the submarine was sighted and sunk it. And they didn't believe us until air patrol saw them, and that's the way it was with the rest of the lookouts that they had. They couldn't believe it was Japanese coming, and they ignored it. When the Japanese started attacking and killing and sinking, anything that walked or flew, and they attacked all the buildings, all the bombers and fighters that were on the ground. They attacked them and disabled them, either burning them or whatever damage they could do to, so they wouldn't fly. The Condor would not attacked or fired on because the Japanese were not interested in small ships. They wanted the big ones, especially the carriers, but the carriers weren't in port. They were out at sea. And so they hit anything that's steel and big ships, like battleships and cruisers and destroyers, or whatever big ship that they saw. Well, they bombed it or torpedoed it. But the small ships, they weren't bothered with it. And the ships that were bombed and torpedoed, they were sunk. So many men being killed or wounded. The men trying to escape from the ship, and you could see them walking on the side of the ship because the ship had flipped over, and they were coming out, running out, and getting into the water to save themselves. But the ships were leaking oil and grease into the water. So when they jumped into the water, they got full of oil and grease all over their bodies, and a lot of them got burnt in the fire because they couldn't get away with all that oil and grease in their bodies, and it was very difficult for them. And we couldn't help them because we were such a small ship.